Thomas Wilson, a good old whaleback freighter. The Wilson was built in 1892, and again she was built by Alexander McDougall and the American Steel Barge Company. The Wilson was launched on April 30th, 1892, and her service dates were 1892 to 1902. The Wilson, being a whaleback freighter, had a tonnage of 1,713 tons. She also could carry a net tonnage of 1,318 tons. She had a length of 308 feet, a beam of 38 feet, a draft of 24 feet, and for propulsion, get this, 2 Scotch Marine boilers with 1 triple expansion steam engine, of course. It is worth noting here that the hatches on the deck had no coamings, these being vertical sections that would have prevented water from coming into the hatches. The hatches were designed to be flush with the surface of the deck, and were simply bolted to the deck on the steamer. On June 7th, 1902, the Thomas Wilson had just left Duluth Harbor carrying a load of masabi, iron ore. The hatches on the Wilson were not yet closed because the weather was clear and calm, and there was no need of it yet. However, in the meantime, the George Hadley, a 2,073-ton wooden steamer, was inbound for the Duluth Harbor. The Annie L. Smith, a tugboat, directed the George Hadley to divert to the Superior Harbor, since all of the Duluth coal docks were full at the time. The captain of the George Hadley ordered an immediate turn to port. However, he did not notice the direction of the Thomas Wilson, or blowing the required whistle signals at that moment. The captain of the Thomas Wilson was concerned about the movements of the Hadley, but being suspicious of running aground if he had turned to port, he ordered an immediate turn to starboard. The Hadley struck the Wilson just forward of the aft hatch and recoiled from the collision. The Wilson then rolled over to the port side and then righted herself and began to sink by the bow. After just 3 minutes after the collision, the entire ship had sunk, and the Wilson took down with her 9 of her 20-man crew with her. The ship and the cargo aboard the Wilson were valued at $207,000, which is equivalent to $7.5 million in 2024. After this terrible collision, there were new rules which were instituted in the Duluth Harbor. Number 1, ships cannot leave the harbor with open hatches. Number 2, ships may not pull out from another ship following a collision. Number 3, pilots may not carry out any order given by the captain when another vessel is sighted without first calling the captain's attention to the other vessel. And number 4, all ships must be equipped with signal systems to all parts of the vessel to warn in case of danger. The Thomas Wilson now rests in over 70 feet of water, just a mile outside of the entrance of the Duluth Ship Canal. The stern of the Wilson is substantially complete, though a large section of the hull of the midship has been broken apart due to other ships dragging anchors through the wreck. The interior of the ship has survived largely intact, with relatively few items having been removed by divers on her. However, some artifacts are on display at the Meteor Maritime Museum, which is nearby in Superior, Wisconsin, together with more information about the Thomas Wilson. It's also worth noting here that the wreck of the Wilson is historically significant as the best known surviving example of the earliest whaleback steamships. After the terrible collision with the Thomas Wilson and her sinking to the bottom, the Hadley herself barely reached shallow water before beaching herself, although she was later repaired and refloated again for service. And that is the full story of the collision and sinking of the Thomas Wilson whaleback freighter. Well, I guess this can't be chalked up to bad weather or terrible seas out there. It was clear and calm, And I'm guessing this must have been that the when the tugboat was directing her away from the ports, because there wasn't any open available spots. I mean, how close were these vessels to each other to not see each other in time, and turning off to the side like that and being struck by another vessel like that? This is crazy. I mean, I wonder if maybe speed played a factor in this, that they were going way too fast into these harbors by Duluth over there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. I feel like this must have been just a boom, 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 very, very quick accident and caught everybody off guards. And maybe there could have been more signals by the tugboats, and or at least the other captains letting each other know of their vicinities. But then again, you know what? With whaleback steamers and how low they sit in the water, maybe it's not such a big surprise that the other vessel, the Hadley, didn't see her in time and nearly cut her in half, but was able to pull out. Either way, what a quick but sad story for those poor 9 men that were probably caught off guard so quickly with this devastating collision. And yeah, my heart goes out to those nine men. And I hope this not super long story, but definitely worth telling, every single bit of it, can give these men some peace. And if there's any surviving family members or friends still alive out there today that are related to this accident, I hope that as well. But with that being said, I do very much appreciate all of you enjoying this story with me and sticking with me on this channel for as long as you have. I thank you so very much for your time, and I hope, whether it's morning, noon, or night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that you are having a wonderful time, and do look forward to the next episode on Songs of the Great Lakes. And until then, God bless you all.